Some men are broken by history, and some men become it. It is 1919, the Punjab, a land ancient beyond memory, of 5 sacred rivers, of warriors and saints, of men who bowed only to God. But in 1919, this land bows to the British Empire. India had bled for Britain's Great War. Over 1 million Indian soldiers fought on foreign soil, not for their own freedom, but for their colonizers. They returned home expecting gratitude. Instead, the British gave them the Rowlatt Act, a law that said any Indian can be arrested, imprisoned, tried in secret for nothing. No evidence, no jury, no appeal. Just chains, just silence, just the boot of an empire. The people of Punjab did what people always do when pushed too far. They protested. April 13th, Baisakhi, the harvest festival, one of the holiest days of the Punjabi year. Thousands poured into Amritsar. Not just to protest, many were simply pilgrims, farmers, families, old men with grandchildren on their shoulders, women in bright dupattas, children running through the crowd, laughing. They gathered at a place called Jallianwala Bagh, a walled garden in the heart of the city, a garden with only one narrow entrance. None of them knew what was coming. Brigadier General Reginald Edward Harry Dyer arrived with 90 soldiers. He gave no warning. He gave no order to disperse. He simply positioned his men at the only exit. And then he gave the order to open fire. The firing lasted 10 minutes, not 10 seconds, not a warning shot. 10 full minutes of unrelenting gunfire into a crowd of unarmed men, women, and children who had nowhere to run. People clawed at the walls trying to climb. They were shot off. People ran for the single exit. They were cut down. Hundreds threw themselves into the one well inside the garden. They drowned. When the guns finally stopped, 1,000 bullets had been fired. The official British count admitted 379 dead. Indian estimates say over 1,000 people were killed that day. Dyer later told a British committee, hear his own words. He said he fired to produce a sufficient moral effect. He said he would have used the machine guns too if they could have fit through the entrance. He called it a duty. Somewhere in that crowd was a boy. His name was Udham Singh. He was 20 years old. To understand Udham Singh, you must understand what he had already lost before Jallianwala Bagh. Born in 1899 in a small village in Punjab, his mother died when he was 2, his father when he was 7. Udham and his older brother were taken to an orphanage in Amritsar. He grew up behind those walls. No mother's warmth, no father's hand on his shoulder, just discipline and other broken boys and the teachings of the gurus, that a righteous man stands for the weak. He grew up with nothing except a burning sense of what is right. And on April 13th, 1919, Udham Singh was in Jallianwala Bagh, helping serve water to the crowds. He survived. He walked out of that garden surrounded by the dead and the dying, soaked in blood that was not his own. And something inside him, some last innocent corner of his young soul, died that day. He made a vow, not loud, not dramatic, quiet, the way the deepest vows always are. He would make them pay. What followed was not the story of a man consumed by blind rage. What followed was something far more extraordinary and far more terrifying to the British Empire. Udham Singh became a ghost, a man who lived multiple lives at once. He joined Bhagat Singh's revolutionary network fighting for Indian independence. He believed what Bhagat Singh believed, that the empire would only understand one language. He traveled relentlessly. East Africa, Europe, America. He worked odd jobs: carpenter, painter, factory worker, film extra in London. He crossed borders on false passports, using different names. Sometimes he called himself Muhammad Singh Azad. And that name was no accident. Muhammad Singh Azad. A Muslim name, a Sikh name, the word for free. He was telling the empire, I am every Indian. I cannot be categorized. I cannot be contained. In 1927, he returned to India, carrying revolvers for the revolution. He was arrested, imprisoned for 4 years. He got out. He kept going. He had found out where General Dyer was. But Dyer, that butcher of Jallianwala, died in 1927, paralyzed and broken before Udham could reach him. But Udham Singh had another name on his list: Lieutenant Governor Sir Michael O'Dwyer, the man who was the political head of Punjab in 1919, the man who approved Dyer's actions after the massacre, the man who called that butchery correct. Udham Singh had waited 21 years. He was done waiting. London, 1940, the Caxton Hall in Westminster, a meeting of British colonial administrators, the great and powerful of the empire, comfortable men in comfortable chairs, talking about the empire they had built on other people's suffering. Michael O'Dwyer was there, 75 years old, respected, decorated, unpunished. Udham Singh walked into that hall. He had a book. Hidden inside the hollowed-out pages of that book, a revolver. He sat through the meeting. He waited, calmly, patiently, the way a man waits when he has been waiting for 21 years. When O'Dwyer rose to leave after the speeches, Udham Singh stood up. He fired twice. Michael O'Dwyer fell dead. Udham Singh did not run. He stood there, surrounded by the screaming, panicking crowd of British officials, and he let them take him. He had not come to escape. He had come to deliver a message. They brought him before the Old Bailey, the most famous court in England. Udham Singh was unbroken. When asked his name, he said, Ram Muhammad Singh Azad. Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, free, all of India standing in one man. When asked why he did it, he did not plead madness. He did not beg for mercy. He spoke. I did it because I had a grudge against him. He deserved it. He was the real culprit. He wanted to crush the spirit of my people. So I have crushed him. For full 21 years I have been trying to seek revenge. I am happy that I have done the job. I am not scared of death. I am dying for my country. The judge sentenced him to death by hanging. Udham Singh smiled. On the morning of his execution, Udham Singh was 40 years old. He had spent half his life chasing this moment, not out of hatred alone, but out of something the British Empire never quite understood about the Indian soul. Izzat, honor, insaf, justice. The orphan boy from Amritsar who had watched 1,000 people die and decided, in that moment of absolute horror, that he would not look away, that he would not forget, that he would not let the dead of Jallianwala Bagh be buried in silence. Udham Singh was hanged on July 31st, 1940. His remains returned to India in 1974. He came home to Punjab, the same soil where he was born, where he became an orphan, where he watched a massacre and made a vow. History is written by the victors, but sometimes just sometimes, a single man decides he will write his own page. He was not a perfect man. He was not a saint. He was something more complicated and more human than that.